Whatever you focus on an ongoing basis creates the pattern of your life. So take control of it. Second decision, the minute you focus on something, you got to decide what it means. Is this the end or the beginning? If you think this is the end of a relationship, for example, are you going to feel the same way? Are you going to treat the person the same way as if you think it's the beginning? Yes or no? No way. Absolutely no way. And whether the end or beginning, whether you think this is, for example, the economic end or the beginning, whether or not you think you are being punished by God by what's happened in your life, or whether you think God is challenging you, or whether you think it has nothing to do with God. It's a gift if you find a way to use it. Whatever meaning you give something controls how you operate as a leader. It controls the way you think, the way you feel. The minute you give a meaning, you get a feeling. So think of a time when you fall head over heels in love with somebody, what happens? Do you make a checklist and go, I like this, I like that, that I don't like, this I like, that I don't. How do you fall in love? No, you focus, don't you? Completely on every little thing you could possibly like or love about this person. And you give it this enormous meaning. And you tell all your friends, oh my God, I love when she does this or when he does that, or I love this, I love that. And you make your friends sick because you talk about this person so much, right? And then, if you're thinking about it, if you're really head over heels in love, or at least in lust, you think about him continuously, you put whole bottles of cologne, you take extra showers, right? At 2 o'clock in the morning, you're thinking of them, so you finally pick up the phone, you call them and go, I was just thinking about you, were you thinking about me? And they say yes, and you're like, oh yes, right? But how long does that last? Can it last forever, yes or no? No. I had a couple at one of my seminars, 92-year-old man, 89-year-old woman. They get together more than 60, I think it was 61 years. They were so physically affectionate, it was like, get a room. And so at one point, I finally brought them on stage, and I said, I want to interview you guys. I said, you guys seem to really love each other. They go, oh yeah, we love each other. Guys, we know you love each other. I said, what is it you've been together all these years, and you seem to still have a lot of physical passion. They go, oh yes, we make love all the time. I said, yeah, almost in the room we're seeing here, right? Most people think after 4 or 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, 20 years, you know everything about the person, it's over. And they said, no, it's all what you focus on. First thing they said. It's like if you focus on, the same thing, I know that person, you don't see all the subtleties in your friend. Your friends or your lovers in a different state, they're in a different place, and we never give it the meaning that it's old. I said, isn't that interesting? What's the meaning? They said, well, here's our thing. We think most people, their relationships end because they make up some meanings and that's it. In the beginnings, they said, what would you do if you loved someone? What would you do for someone you love, guys? What would you do? Come on, what would you do? Anything. It's not a trade. You don't go, I'll do this if you do that. That's bartering. That's merchandising, right? If you love somebody, you'll just do anything. So in the beginning of a relationship, somebody says, could you take out the trash? It's like, I'll take out the trash, right? Happily, right? But after 4 or 5 years, somebody says, take out the trash. He goes, take out the trash. What do I look like, your janitor? Take out your own trash, right? And she says, that's not what we do. It's like we focus on how to make the other person feel totally loved. That's all we focus on. And I said, what about intimacy? And they said, well, our belief is you can't talk, you got to touch. And I said, so what do you think makes your relationship have so much variety, so much joy? And they said, well, because we believe there's endless variety in lovemaking. They said, here's our rule. We try anything once, and if we like it, we do it again. And they were just so cute. And then, other people are sitting there, dead with the person they've been with for 5 years. Right? What's the difference? What you're focusing on. What's the difference? The meanings you give it. Because once you give something a meaning, that meaning filters everything. Who's ever snapped at somebody and it had nothing to do with them? It was just the state you're in. So you gave it a lousy meaning like they were interrupting you. Who's ever done this before? Say, I. It was just the state you're in. That's not an excuse. If you take control of what you focus on and you take control of the meaning, you'll instantly get control of the third thing, which is what you do. Because what we do ultimately shapes us as a leader and shapes other people as well. And what we do is based on a lot of our role models. And if we shift that, we can shift our life in so many different ways. Now, lots of people know what they should do, and they're the leader, and they're still not doing it. Why don't people follow through? You tell me. That's right, there's only one thing. We all know what it is, fear. But none of us want to talk about it. We're all definitely afraid to fail. We're definitely afraid to not look good. We're definitely afraid that we're not enough in some context. And we're afraid that we're not enough, that we're not going to be loved. It's in all human beings, even the most successful. I've dealt with presidents of countries and kids. We all have this fear built inside. So because of that, most of us come up with a story or reason not to use our resources. Oh, we tear the other person down, or this doesn't matter, so we don't have to participate because we don't want to look bad. So if we're going to be successful, we got to break out of that. You're never going to get rid of the fear completely. That's called being human. But you can direct your focus, which changes the game instantly.